This is my city. We're taking it back.
Hello there, gamers. Welcome along to the very first podcast of 2016 for MyGamesLounge.com. I am Respawn Rossco, and I am here with my good friend David Game. How are you, sir?
I am fine, Respawn Rossco. Good old boss man Ross. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. It is good to be on the very first episode of Game and Respawn for 2016. We've had a huge turn on MyGamesLounge.com last year. Didn't end too well for us with a few problems technically. So we've moved over to a new server. Everything's shiny and new, and the site's looking good. Would you say, Dave?
Yeah, I think the site's looking a lot better than it was. I was fine with the old look, and when you were like, "Oh, we've got to change," I was like, okay, I guess, right, whatever. And then it come up, and I was like, actually, this is way better. I'm happy with this. This is a much easier kind of, the tiling system. I always gave Windows a lot of crap for the square tiles everywhere, but it is actually a lot more fluid than the old systems. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
That's the idea. We tried to make it for you guys out there in Gamerland. Come on, you want to see stuff. It's nice and easy for you to see. And we've also expanded a little bit, thanks to my friend Dave here. You've added a new section for us with your contacts and your wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, I wish I had that many of them, but yeah, good old one of the guys at Manga UK. Shout out to Fraser Overington. We had a conversation thanks to, and again, I hope this is okay to say, but I was in the IGN Anime Club Facebook group.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We like
right?
IGN, really.
I like IGN. I'm a big fan, but I'm not sure how cool it is to just say on the website. But yeah, I was in the group and we had a conversation just out of nowhere, and we ended up talking about upcoming anime releases. So from now on, that's when we started up Entertainment Lounge. We've got the tab at the very top of the My Games Lounge page, and I reviewed 3 sets of anime. We got Golden Time Collection 1, Akamega Kill Collection 1, and My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. That's the complete season 1. All of which I believe 12 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. I think My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu had 13 because it had a bonus episode. But either way, I've reviewed all of those, and people can feel free to go check them out because I love anime. We all like entertainment. I know, like yourself, you like a fair bit of what's on Netflix, Russ. And
I do. I think
Neil's a big fan.
I think we're all loving it. It's loving it. There's some good reviews there, Dave. I enjoyed reading because I'm not an anime person, but it got me.
You're definitely not an anime person, a real person.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what an anime me looked like. But yeah, that's the Entertainment Lounge, and it's going to expand. Obviously, we're focused on gaming, of course, but I mean, we love entertainment, and like Dave says, Netflix has got some cool stuff coming up. We've got the 2nd season of Daredevil. I loved the 1st season of Daredevil. It's fantastic, wonderful filming, great scripting and things. So I'm going to be doing some stuff on Daredevil when that comes up, and there's just tons of game tie-in movies coming up at the moment, I think as well. We've got Assassin's Creed coming up this year, and then there's just so many games that are starting to just fold into this kind of movies idea because people are realizing the stories are good. The stories in gaming now are excellent, and the characters are excellent too. So I think it seems like a natural progression for us, to be honest.
Warcraft movie, man. There's a hot topic of debate. There's a lot of debate. Everyone's like, either on one side of the camp or you're on the other one. It's like, oh, this is all CG. Blah. Or it's like, oh, it's not looking as good as I want it to. I mean, I get it. I am dubious. I guess, is that right? Dubious about it? I'm not sure.
It works.
Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll work out. I think the key point, you'll hear a lot of criticism, but I think the key point, especially including games, we've given bad reviews to games before. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, shout out to you awful, awful game.
Why do that to people, Activision?
We want these things to be good. We are what they call enthusiast press. We already go in with a relatively biased mindset. Not deliberately, it's just an inherent medium. We love games, we love entertainment, so we come to a point where you automatically go in wanting something to be good, and it either hits you the wrong way or it rubs you the right way. It might go in and do exactly what you think, a standard, this is a 7 out of 10. This is exactly what I thought it'd be. This is okay.
I think we don't encourage you to rub games anywhere. That's not what they're for.
I mean,
rubbing you the right way, the wrong
circumstances,
way.
man.
It's all good.
You don't know where you're gonna be, Russ. If you're in the wild, Far Cry Primal, you're stuck back there, and you've got a game CD somehow. I don't know how that works, but
those
it's back
badges
there.
are vicious, man. They'd bite it off.
Mate, well, no, you won't find a badger. Like if you go to the area where it says there are badgers, you won't find any. You'll be able to rub yourself in peace.
You only find them when you're in the middle of like a giant scrap.
Yeah, you just have your ankles bitten off by this weird badger, and you're like, oh, where were you when I was actually looking for your skin to craft this new bloody whatever the hell I was trying to craft at the time because I forgot. But anyway, I digress.
Goddamn badgers. Right, so you're with us.
Badgers.
You're with us, Badger Bashers, for the next hour or so, just talking about gaming. Now, the main theme of this is The Division. Now, The Division is coming out as we record this tomorrow, hopefully as we publish this tomorrow. But if not, it'll be the same day, Tuesday the 8th of March. And the cool thing about The Division, which we will get onto, is the fact that everyone's going in on a level playing field. So us guys, the IGN guys, any reviewer is not going to be able to get on the full game until tomorrow. So you'll be able to check out on My Games Lounge our gameplay diaries as we kind of experience it. I'm sure Dave will be doing some, I'll be doing some, and we'll just try and convey what it's like to play rather than rushing to slap a number on it as quickly as possible, as people tried to do with Destiny, when that released and reviewers had to wait. So that's the cool thing. We're all on the even playing field with The Division, and me and Dave are going to be discussing that later on in the show. But first of all, I think it's best we just have a look through some of the cool news that's been revealed. Dave, do you want to do some kind of epic trailer voice news thing with your voice acting?
I shall. And now it's time for the MGL news from Game and Respawn.
Yeah, that's cool. We love jingles.
That's all I've got.
Yeah. We will never, ever do that again, people.
No, unless people like it, in which case I doubt it. So
yeah, the thumbs down on YouTube will let us know.
Oh, God, no.
So, in the news is a small independent game made by a few people. We just thought we'd bring it up. It's just a little piddly thing. It's called No Man's Sky. Have you heard of this, Dave?
Mate, right.
It's a small studio.
It's from Goodbye Studios.
Yeah,
and I think it's Shane something is his name. Shane McMahon is developing it. Yes, he's fresh out of WrestleMania to bring us this High Man's Place. Right? That's what?
No Man's Sky. It's called No Man's Sky, Dave. It's causing a bit of a stir because just about 12 dudes from the UK. Big up to Sean and the UK.
Sean Murray.
Only the UK people can make something based on maths and make it fun.
I'm not on that side. I'm not on that side of it. I believe the Americans may be able to do that too.
They might.
Perhaps the Russians. Oh no, not fun, but still efficient.
Not fun. No. The game is obviously epic. We've got a new number, 18 quintillion, has been just brought around the internet, and they've confirmed that the June date that they set at Paris Games Week is now going to be officially the 22nd of June. On the UK, where we're going to play it, that'll be the 24th of June, Indeed. Which is a couple of weeks after my birthday, and I'll be playing it on the PlayStation 4, so I'll be definitely wanting that fancy collector's edition with all the cool stuff. I'm gutted that the spaceship version is only for PC at the moment. I'm hoping I can get that separately for my desk at work. I am officially excited to play this again. It's gone very quiet. There was lots of talk about the universe and all the things within it, but not so much about all the stuff you could do and kind of the story elements. But it's been interesting to see out of this. I don't know if you've seen it, Dave. There's been quite a lot of teasers about the races and all the things that you might actually be able to do in the game.
I know the news I heard, which again shocked me so much because it was broken by good old Kinda Funny, who are some of my favorite podcasters and content creators, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, and this was broken by Kevin Coella, one of their employees, their only employee, I believe, and he had a 10-minute interview with Sean Murray, and we got the release date. They did speak about brief bits, and they caught. It seemed to catch Sean Murray off a little bit when Kevin pressed on, VR support, And he stepped back a bit and he said, Sean Murray, I remember you saying, I might be saying too much here, but we're just a small team. He did not say no, Russ.
Yeah,
he did not say no.
Yeah.
So
if PlayStation VR does not get No Man's Sky VR, the world could potentially end of gaming. I think it's the most...
The world? The universe?
The world of
Russ?
the 18...
The universe!
Sorry, the 18 quintillion planet universe could end, because I would be absolutely shocked if PlayStation VR does not get that as its lead release game. The release date is after E3, when they are going to announce the PlayStation VR price point. So I think it's basically an inevitability. You would think at E3 that it's going to be PlayStation VR is this much and the lead game is No Man's Sky. It will be available when PlayStation VR launches towards Christmas. That is going to be the big seller for me. But no, there's some cool stuff been confirmed. Have you seen the little spaceship?
I have seen, as in the one that comes with the collector's edition.
Yeah.
I have, because you sent me the link. I know you're trying to get newsy with it, Ross, but this is a fact. Sent me the link.
This is not how it works. We're going to have director involved in this. I looked at it, and it looks really... It does look cool. It does. It's some cool stuff. I mean, I read some impressions. So for gamers out there, there's loads of hands-on stuff out there at the moment, because people have managed to get a half-an-hour demo for certain websites. Not us just yet. We will try and speak to Sean.
We're getting there.
But I've done a piece on my Games Lounge about my kind of waiting for the game, because I'll be turning a ripe old age of 33 just before the game comes out, and most people have been waiting for the game for a few years now, but it's the kind of game I feel like I've been waiting 25 years plus for, because as a sci-fi loving kid, there's nothing more than exploring a universe that sounds really, really cool. So this is as close as we're going to get to it, and I am very, very much looking forward to it. What's been interesting for me to read and see is just these impressions about the kind of the teasing us, Dave. They're teasing us with all these alien races, and they're saying that there are going to be languages for you to learn. As you explore the universe, you will find language kind of nodes that will reveal like what one letter means, and you'll be able to understand the different languages of the races. And some languages are more difficult to understand than others. This will affect the dialogue options that you've got and what you say, and you might get ripped off when you're being traded. You might end up in a firefight. You might end up with an entire species of people that just hate you guts, and I like that. I think that's sounding like something something tangible to do when it comes to the non-playable characters. So I do think we're going to see more about that and how that kind of factions and enemy system works in the coming months. I'm looking forward to that personally.
I hear what you're saying. Again, right, we joked at first, but yes, Hello Games and Sean Murray being the lead. I believe it's Sean Murray, lead developer on the game. We followed this for a while, and I recall, I believe it was during one of our MGL mixes, one of the videos where we spoke, and you said, you mentioned No Man's Sky, and I said, I could do without ever hearing about No Man's Sky ever again until it comes out, because I already, I believe it's going to be good. The more you see of that game, the less you're really going to get. I mean, I know this new news dump has been hype because the release date has been set in stone, so that's good. That kind of information is important. What we didn't need were the constant, again, IGN. I like IGN, but the IGN first for No Man's Sky, when they did that, which was where they did the early preview footage and whatnot, that was clearly done at a time when they thought this game was coming out maybe in 2015, in the holiday period of 2015, and it just didn't hit that point. And it was at that point where I was like, well, you know what? I'm done. I don't care when this game comes out. When it comes out, I will play it. Until then, just let Sean and the team work on the game. Can we just leave them alone? Let them go. Let them make this game that keeps getting pushed back for to be what it's supposed to be. And in all honesty, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not overly hyped for it, but I am looking forward to it. But I think my expectation for it is tempered more so than most people's. I think there's a lot of people out there that are really hyped for it, and they're so like, oh, we're going to be able to do this. And I really do think that Sean Murray's been trying to, especially in the interviews, he's been trying to temper the expectations, trying to say, look, no, you're not going to be taking 20 of you and invading a solar system. Like, no, it's like, please stop thinking of this as Star Fox meets Mass Effect. It's like, we're not doing this. This is an exploration thing, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to pick this game up in June and go, it's not what I wanted, because you thought it was something they never said it was going to be. And I think there's going to be a bunch of people that are either going to be incredibly satisfied with this, again, inherently procedurally generated would mean there will be a lot of repetition. As much as it will change from bit to bit, there will be repetition. And if that's not something that's going to suit you, especially for what, a quintillion planets, like how many quintillion?
18 plus
quintillion.
18 quintillion, and then it goes into trillions. So
oh mate, right, so
18 and a half quintillion or something ridiculous.
Jeez, if you're expecting every single one of those things to be unique, I'm sorry, I'm gonna drop the bomb on you right now. Game's not for you. Like, you really just don't temper yourself and think, okay, there are so many good games coming out. We're looking forward to so many things. No Man's Sky has been on the table for a while, perhaps longer than it should have been. Maybe it was revealed a little bit too early, but nonetheless, I think it will be a very good game. It will be a unique experience. Will it really be something that you're playing a month afterwards? I don't know. That's what gets me, is like, where's the longevity? I mean, is it going to be an experience where I'm like, oh, okay, a journey style experience, not that short, obviously, but oh, yeah, that was good. It was a really emotional journey or whatever. Like, it's something unique I never had before, and now I'm done with it, and I'm okay with that. Or is it going to be, I wish there was more to do? Is it going to be, not to draw a comparison that's not apt, but is it going to be a Destiny feeling where it's like, well, I want to play this, but there's nothing to do. What there is to do is boring now.
I think it's a game that's kind of appeals to a certain type of gamer.
Yeah.
And then other people are getting on board. I think you need to just think about what kind of gamer you are to enjoy this one. If you're not going to be interested in discovering things, discovering new planets that, like you say, may or not be exciting. I mean, there's countless interviews where Sean's gone to a planet randomly and gone, oh, this one's like this, because he doesn't know either. Everything's procedural, so to him the game is new. So when he goes to a new planet on a demo, he's not actually got a clue whether the planet's going to be a barren moon or it's going to be a full, living, breathing planet full of actual people. And I think that's the kind of those people that understand what space is like. Now, this is a game, so you do expect entertainment and you do expect value, but you got to respect the fact that every planet is going to be different, and some of them are going to be just like moons with a few things to find on. They're going to be a bit barren, they're going to be a bit hot, a bit cold, not nice. Not everything's going to look like those ones in the demo. One thing, though, on the hype machine, to hype us back up again, that I found interesting, it says on the PlayStation blog where this information came out that Sean Murray had been working with a couple of people to bring a comic book to kind of it's a sci-fi book cover type comic book graphic novel thing to go with the collector's edition of the game. And he's been working with Dave Gibbons, who's the creator of Watchmen and the movie Kingsman, as it says on this thing I'm reading, and James Swallow, which if you know anything to do with writing in games, you know James Swallow is. He worked on Mass Effect and he's also working on the new Deus Ex. Now, these people have come together apparently to put together this kind of lore of the game outside of it. But if they've come together to do the lore outside of the game, could those people have been working with Sean for the lore inside of the game and those kind of story things? And bringing in those names has me a little bit more excited for this kind of idea of factions and races and different plots going on in No Man's Sky. If it just said, yeah, we've worked on a comic book fair enough, great, good idea, I want to read it. But the names mentioned, the quality of the writers mentioned, that, if that's taken into the game as well, that has me excited to see more. Especially, if you don't know if you've seen or read Watchmen, but that kind of gritty writing could be good, with a little bit of fun involved too, as well as the whole Mass Effect and Star Wars factor that you've got with James Swallow. I am looking forward to not only reading that as part of the collector's edition that I will be getting for my birthday. Somebody,
not me.
I'll be not from you, Dave. It's all right. It's fine. I won't be
the
upset.
missus. Where is the missus?
The missus can save up for that one. But yes, I'm impressed by those names, and I think that if they get the kind of the procedural generation on missions and the story is right as they seem to have done with the universe, then this could be the game to define this kind of exploration genre, if you like. I don't think it's ever really happened in this way, but it's an exploration game. People need to be completely and utterly understanding. This is not a Space Invaders, 3D massive, let's go blow everything up. This is an exploration game for those people that enjoyed watching Star Treks and those kind of things when they were a kid.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, me, Russell, I tend to, like I said to you earlier, we approach a lot of things with a critical approach, and that's just like our default setting. But I am looking forward to No Man's Sky. I've just learned the industry has almost made, like, it makes you weary. Like, you're like, there's a lot of hype. And I'm glad that the industry as a whole is kind of turning away from the hype. I think No Man's Sky was caught in that early day hype machine. Hey, look at our games. Dun, 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 E3. And we were like, well, okay, when is it coming out? In 5 years. Okay, right, thanks. And then I think Bethesda changed the game at last E3. For like, not meaning to pun that up there, but they changed the game where they turned around and went, oh, by the way, you know how people moan about games that have been hyped for ages? We're announcing it now, and it's coming out in 6 months. So, yeah, that's how you do it, everybody, right? Get your marketing team, like, down to that, use your marketing budget to that narrow gap. Is the game going to be ready by then? Yeah, it looks that way. Well, there we go. And I think that the No Man's Sky coverage has been extended to the point where there is fatigue, and there are expectations that are higher than they should be, given like the time they've had, unfortunately, like to keep having to push it back and such a small team. And we can talk about it on the level of how much we're excited for it, and we're constantly exposed to it, so maybe we're too close to the system to understand that maybe they do need that marketing time. Maybe there were people that didn't even know about it until now with the new the PlayStation blog and the press dump and the release date. Maybe people didn't know about it, but people that are in tune with the industry even slightly, No Man's Sky has been in your face for a long time, and I think it will suffer at the hands of its unfortunate hype that it itself did not build. It's a combination of Sony marketing and people, media website hype, and it'll be interesting to see if it manages to hook people. There needs to be a good gameplay loop in there for people to constantly play it, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think flying from planet to planet is going to be enough to keep people hooked. There has to be something, and I know there's the elements of upgrading, which is what I'm looking forward to. The upgrade your ship, put new stuff on it, improve the engines, get closer to the center of the universe, if I'm not mistaken. What is it? Yeah, universe.
Yeah, galaxy, universe.
It's a galaxy, yeah.
I think it's one galaxy. I don't think you span galaxies unless I've seen anything otherwise. But yeah, I think the overall goal is to kind of get the better stuff, shall we say, is closer to the center, and you start around the outside. And there's a
secret in the middle, apparently. It's not like a Peter Molyneux click this thing a billion times and someone will get to the middle. Again, imagine if Peter, like, this is another thing you got to bear in mind. Like, imagine if Peter Molyneux was making No Man's Sky. Quintillion would have been what he promised, and we'd have, maybe an island by the end of it.
Well, it was a quintillion pixels.
We really wanted to do the quintillion planets, but it turns out it wasn't quite feasible, and so now you're on an island that you can't leave. There we go. Thank you,
The
Peter.
stars are there. You just can't ever get to them.
Yes, exactly that. We put the stars in. We plan to make you
There
go.
are 18 quintillion stars in the sky. You have no ship.
That's it. Now,
It's a
you
ship
know,
we couldn't afford.
someone will count them as well on the Molyneux version of No Man's Sky. Someone will count those as their mate. There's 15 of them. Right. Well, from a theological perspective, perhaps the quintillion could be the same as 15, depending on how you look at it. Thank you. I'm Peter Molyneux. And that's fine.
Peter Molyneux is not our guest, by the way. It is Dave. Dave's
Yeah, it's my terrible Molyneux impression.
If you
And
just
again,
tuned in now.
all due respect to Molyneux, he has made some games I really enjoyed, but he overpromises, and that's like the polar opposite. I bring him up just as a polar opposite to Sean Murray, who's really been attempting to, hey, I hope you're not too excited to do things we haven't said you can do. Please don't be.
Please read things.
But I'm not a very assertive man, so unfortunately, this can be falling on deaf ears.
Geeky bastard.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Cool. Like there was other news, Dave. There were other news. So
news?
to sum up, No Man's Sky, we like it. Just shut up and make it.
Yeah, pretty much. We should shut up and carry on. I think. Yeah, we're at that point now.
Star Ocean in Integrity and Faithlessness, or Star Ocean 5, released a really cool English voiceover debut trailer, and just to kind of gloss over my feelings, I liked Star Ocean. I liked A Last Hope, I think it was called, and it's a cool game franchise, and this one looks really, really nice. Have you seen it, Dave? Have you seen the trailer?
I have not seen the English dub trailer. I saw I believe it was the Tokyo Game Show was the last time I caught this one. Maybe Paris. No, it wasn't Paris. It was Tokyo Game Show. Star Ocean has good combat.
Yeah, it does.
Its dubs have been a little shaky. I think I might be being a bit generous there. As a fan of dubs, I enjoy dubbed content. I'm not a sub snob like people that watch. There's a lot of people that watch anime that won't watch the dub. Same with the games, Japanese games in particular. I think a lot of dub actors do a good job. I sometimes wonder if the direction on Star Ocean games is up to par, because they have good quality voice actors and they tend to come through a little bland, maybe or
annoying.
Yeah, that can happen too. That does grate at me. But again, I'm throwing the salt on it for just a second, just to be very clear that we've got to temper those expectations for these games. Star Ocean has always had a very, very impressive combat mechanic, like the way that you can use. I wanted to say arts, but that's tails. Let's just call them special skills, because I've forgotten what they are.
No, I know what you're saying.
And the way that you can, you switch in your party members, and it's quite a unique motif in the way that not a lot of anime style games, and I say anime and art style, you know what I mean, Japanese RPGs, they don't reach space that often and really explore that avenue, because I guess it's more difficult to do, to have a grounded fantasy realism to an extent in space. It's such a wide, if you go to space, the expectations skyrocket. Again, No Man's Sky, you go to space and people are like, I want to go anywhere in space, and Star Ocean goes, well, we can go some places. Can't go everywhere. We want to fly the ship. No, you can't. No, that's not what this game's about. Stop it. And so Star Ocean has a lot of promise. I'm always excited to hear, Star Ocean, maybe we'll get a good JRPG out of it. But I don't think I look back on a Star Ocean and go, yeah, man, that's my JRPG.
No, it's usually kind of like your fun cousin of your amazing ones. It's just kind of like maybe a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Doesn't define anything, doesn't come out with anything new, but it's fun to play, and it's worth going on. Like you said though, the character, I think the last one suffered from bad voice acting as far as I remember, but the actual overall plot was good if you could suffer through the annoying characters that just got on your nerves. But I do like the look of this one. I like the plot kind of turn that it's going, the way it's. I think it's a prequel to everything, isn't it? This one. So
yes, I thought.
I'm looking. I'm liking
the timeline's weird.
I'm liking that. And the other bit of news I wanted to highlight is another upcoming game that I have high hopes for. I'm being non-salt. I'm putting sugar. I'm giving you some sweet popcorn here.
That's why we're both here, man. That's what it's for.
the Homefront: The Revolution. Now, I wasn't too impressed with the original Homefront, but I played Homefront: The Revolution at EGX and spoke to one of the developers, a guy who worked on Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 a bit. He's kind of moved over from Ubisoft, and he was one of the coolest guys at the conference. We had a conversation for ages. I recorded it, and I need to put it on My Games Lounge really at some point. But no, it's looking like it could be a really gritty open world shooter that might not be an amazing game, but I kind of like this kind of way it's going. And there was just a little bit of news that came out that any game that can come with a remote controlled car has got to be something to take kind of notice of. There's a Goliath edition that was in the news, and it comes with like a radio controlled tank thing that you can see in the game. And I'll tell you, having played the game, those things will kick your head in. It's not a lone wolf mentality, Dave. You don't go out there and think you're like this amazing guerrilla soldier, and you've got all these ultimate weapons. If something's coming for you and you're on your own, chances are you're gonna die. Get out of the way, get hidden, get unseen, and take things out, a little bit at a time. I like it. It looks good. I don't know what you've seen on it.
Again, Homefront Revolution, the Revolution rather. In all honesty, again, all I've seen is the development hell that it's been through. It's been through so much. This is another game that's like it's existed forever. It's like, oh, okay, let's grab this. Then throw it in the fire, then bring it back out. Oh, look, we can save it. Oh, wait, it's back in fire again. It's spontaneously combusted. Oh, and we've made something from it, finally. And, I mean, there was a situation with Crytek. Obviously, the original situation was the whole THQ deal, I believe.
Yeah.
And yet the situation with Crytek not paying their employees or something? Again, it was Crytek UK, and then... it's so convoluted. The plot to the development of Homefront: The Revolution is like Kingdom Hearts. It's just like I don't know where. I mean, okay, I've got the gist of this, but I mean, what's Maleficent doing to the dudes that are being invaded with guns? What? That's just I'm fusing the two genres there, right? But I want it to be good. I didn't play the original Homefront. I saw a lot of it being played because there was a lot of coverage because they took on the Red Dawn-esque style, didn't they?
Yeah.
With a storyline. And that's not something that's covered too often, so that's interesting. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think it'll be... If they've worked on it for so long... I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. It's like, if someone said, I'm doing Sunday dinner, and then they come back in 2 Sundays and tell you it's not ready and give it you on Tuesday. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I hope it's good. You said you've played it. You've got a more educated opinion than I do.
Yeah, I liked it. I went into it with the opinion of yourself. I was like, oh, God, this is going to be a mess. And they had a huge... section on it, and I spoke to the Deep Silver guys who were really, really supportive of My Games Lounge.
It is Deep Silver now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I played it. I played the PC version, so it was high spec, but obviously the console version is going to be the last one to get perfected anyway.
Naturally, it's normal. Yeah, situation I say port not in a derogatory sense.
No.
So, just it has to be balanced on the consoles afterwards.
Yeah. And I mean, I played it, and I definitely got. I mean, before I spoke to the developer guy, I got onto a little bike and I started whizzing around this red zone that was like the really dangerous area, and I got that kind of. I was like, oh, this does feel a bit Far Cry-ish, but it feels dirty, it feels dark, and it feels nasty, and it was just exactly what that game needed. So hopefully, it keeps that all the way through, and it's got this kind of dark storyline. I did like it. And say, remote controlled tank. What more could you ask for? So, Dave, what's going on in the news that's interested yourself?
Okay, so again, I'm going to be fully transparent here and say I'm a bit behind. I've been doing a fair amount of reviews, as Ross knows, and I've been taking care of some other stuff. So my catch up on news has been kind of like, but I did watch the Nintendo Direct, not the full Direct at the moment. Again, I've still got to catch up on that, but the Pokemon Direct, in which they revealed Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, they revealed it. They showed nothing. The whole thing was a celebration of, there's 20 years of Pokemon. And, doing all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then it's like, everyone's thinking, oh, Pokemon Z, maybe? X, Y, and then the middle game. It seems they have bypassed this situation and just went, all right, X and Y was what you got. Now we're moving on. It's Sun and Moon. I'm excited for it. I am excited. I must admit that I disappointed myself because I was like, is it going to be on the NX? Is this going to be it? Are they going to do it? It might go to the NX. No, it's 3DS.
That could have been interesting.
It would have been the perfect moment. But again, there's so many arguments against why it should ever go to a home console. I don't necessarily agree with them. But, Pokemon is pocket monsters. I mean, what's the point if you can't put it in your pocket? But then what if the NX itself... Again, all the rumours about the NX are flying around where, yes, this is coming to 3DS, but will it also work with the NX and whatever controller that's coming with?
Yeah,
because they're not going to, again, just to lean into the NX news after this, there's been, there's a few surveys popping up here and there. It's been confirmed that they will not, courtesy of IGN from what I've seen, it's probably up on our other websites too, that Nintendo has denied the NX will use the Android OS, so it won't have the Android operating system. But Nintendo are becoming, with their partnership with DNA, they are venturing into the mobile market. Their first game, Miitomo, is going to be like a social network for Nintendo fans. And... so it's not really a game more than a social platform. They've got the new Nintendo ID system starting up, to take over from the old, archaic Nintendo Club accounts. So they are really gearing up for whatever the hell NX is going to be. And it's either going to... I mean, it's Nintendo. So the thing is, we can speculate all day and probably be wrong for the entire thing. Because Nintendo always bust out something where you're like, what?
No matter in your wildest dreams, you just cannot come up with the random combination of things that a Nintendo person can do and put into a business plan and make. So no matter what our thoughts of the NX to be, I think we're just better off just letting the month or two just drift by and seeing exactly what comes up at E3. Because
at E3, I
is it going to happen at or before?
Right.
You think?
So that's the thing. Nintendo now do their Nintendo Directs, which they've been doing for the past few years, and they've been really effective. They've not always been great. I'm not, none of them have been like Final Fantasy VII on PS4, and everyone's like, but
don't say that to me, Dave. I'm getting tight underpants.
It's then it's also going to be episodic. So there you go. There's a flaccid one for you. But the point with Nintendo is that they only do their Direct when they have something to say, and that's important. So when E3 comes around this year, they have the most to say. All the other companies are focused on their VR experience, and I understand that. That's fantastic. Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, is it? And obviously I say the Morpheus is PlayStation VR now. They're all the companies are going to be pushing that, but Nintendo are going to be pushing a console, their own home console. Now, granted, I've been an advocate of Nintendo branching out and maybe not doing consoles anymore and making their fantastic first-party games for at least one of the other consoles, But if they... Again, we lose their ingenuity at that point. The Wii, for whatever people want to say about it, was it the highest selling console of all time, or maybe just behind PS2?
I think they had a bit of a scrap it out for a while, didn't they? It's very, very close, regardless of which one won.
They were over the 100 million. I know that, and that's a big deal. And so you can't discount Nintendo's ability to innovate, but Nintendo are also incredibly stubborn. And, again, it's understandable from a company that's nearly 100 years old, or maybe is 100 years. I'm not sure. But Nintendo have this. They are hit or miss. The Wii U is a miss. No matter how you look at it, the Wii U is a miss, unfortunately. It has some good games, very good games. Xenoblade Chronicles X was my game of the year of 2015. It was fantastic. We didn't get around to those articles because of the whole switchover at the site, but the fact of the matter is, for me, Xenoblade Chronicles X was 2015's game of the year. It was fantastic. And it was stranded on that deserted island of a Wii U. And that's unfortunate because that game deserved to be played far and wide. Like that, it's fantastic, Ross, I tell you. It's so long.
It's all right then. Yeah, it's all right.
I mean, it's okay. So, like, it is such a long game that most people will never play it, and it's on the Wii U, which makes its chances even worse. It just will not get the recognition it deserves. But the NX it's their opportunity now to say, oh, our console is now at least it has to be just as powerful as the other two. At least as powerful as the Xbox One. It has to be. And those are the rumors in the survey saying like it can run PS4 and Xbox One games. So, because it needs that third-party buffer zone to get through to its first-party major releases to make it easier for us. Like, there are people sat there. It's almost like, having a Wii U is almost like the gaming equivalent of the third world country for itself. Like, with no disrespect to that whole idea, is, starving here waiting for this first party game to come out. Where's our Star Fox? That's what people kind of go. And it's like, oh, you can't exactly say, oh, here's the Division while you wait for the first party, Uncharted.
It's got to happen like that, hasn't it?
Where's there's been no brand new fantastic Mario game on the Wii U. So the NX is clearly where all the hopes are going. And I had hoped that maybe Pokemon would make the jump at that point. Maybe if this is going to be what people are hoping for, this hybrid portable home console, you're not chained to it like you are with a Wii U gamepad, then that could be genuinely revolutionary. Like that really could be. But will it? And again, if that's the case, Pokemon will jump straight to the NX, I imagine, as well as the 3DS, because it will all communicate with each other. And yeah, I mean, it's in regards to Pokemon, I think I was only disappointed because the 3DS's hardware is getting very dated now. I mean, it was dated even compared to the Vita, and the Vita crashed and burned. But the 3DS did nowhere near as well as the actual DS. And, it's fading. And I'd like to see Pokemon developed for a powerful system, because that standard gameplay loop's amazing. So what you could add to a Pokemon game in a console environment, it'd be incredible. And that's just me. So that's my Pokemon news update and my NX splurge.
Yeah. No, I think that the future for Nintendo, they need to get this console right. They need to come into it perhaps with some VR technology. And we are in for some serious gaming stuff this year. I firmly believe that this year is going to be absolutely just mental. The gaming schedule already for the start of the year is just really full of quality. The end of the year is going to be full of quality, and we've got those big reveals on all the VR stuff, and Nintendo really wanting to make a comeback into the proper competitive console market, get those third party supports like you say, as well as their innovation. It's going to be some serious work for us, Dave. That's what it's going to be. Okay, we're going to have to move on, and time is ticking, sir. We have an hour podcast, and we've only got about 15 minutes left, and we're going to dedicate that to The Division. Can we have epic voice again, sir?
Division, brought to you by Ubisoft.
By Games Lounge.
Well, it was Ubisoft that made it.
Well, yeah.
That's where I'm going from. Games Lounge.
They did. We won't claim you, The Division. So The Division, it's going to be a bit divisive, ironically.
It really is.
I am going to be basically hoping. I did an article. We did a preview on The Division on mygameslounge.com, and I remember the song "Don't Believe the Hype" from way back in the 90s, maybe even late 80s. And I seriously want to believe the hype with The Division. I've played it at EGX, I played the open beta, the closed beta, and I want it to be everything it promises to be. And I've not seen anything that really says this isn't going to be good. But have we seen anything that says this is going to be amazing as this game has been, considering how much it's been put back, developed, kind of sold as this kind of fully integrated world of multiplayer PvP, player versus enemy, role-playing game with lots to do and fleshed out content. It sounds amazing. Has anything for you shown that it's going to be amazing yet, Dave?
No, nothing amazing. Nothing. I think again, I make my good points first because, I do tend to come down hard on these games, but I think they've got a very interesting map system. It's translucent, brings it up on the screen. I like the waypoint system because the waypoint shoots out from you and actually actively goes down a subway if something is below you. So you can follow that. Whereas again, in games like Far Cry and whatnot, just pick any game with actual waypoint visible marker. Sometimes they'll stick an arrow above your head and kind of give you a vague direction, and it's like, well, they want to try and tout exploration, but there's no fun in exploration if I put a waypoint down. Yeah, if I say, I want to get here and you go figure it out and it's really difficult. No, I don't have time for that. I want to play your game. I want to experience what you've got in there. So give me a system where if I don't want to just wander around aimlessly, make it like that. And The Division in the closed beta, I played the open beta. The open beta that I played, it did that. It had the waypoint that takes you directly to wherever you're looking to go. Now, I don't know if that's going to be as malleable as, click here specifically on the map and not on a particular objective, but it doesn't matter either way. For me, I was quite happy with the way that handled it. Third-person shooters, I think since Destiny, I was spoiled on Destiny, and again, not to make the comparisons with Destiny because there's been too many, but I was spoiled on a first-person shooter from shooting mechanics in Destiny, and that's what kept me hooked in Destiny, despite the lack of content. Even after the Taken King, it was good for a bit, and then it's dropped, significantly, and we've had news on that, but we won't go into that. The point is that with The Division, I was playing it, and I was enjoying it with my friends. I was like, okay, we've got a 4-man team, which again is more restrictive than I'm used to in my shooters. So I'm like, okay, 4-man team. That's I understand why, but this has narrowed my groups down a bit. And the third-person shooting, it's fine, it's okay. But my biggest problem is with its real-world setting. The real-world setting, as cool as it looks, I've listened to a bunch of people from New York talk about this game and how really well represented New York is in that game. I have to take their word for it. I've never been. Looks great. It's going to be limited by that setting. Again, we talk of Destiny. It's fantasy. There's no qualms about it. They can make whatever they want to, create a bit of a backstory to it. There you go. It's in the game. The Division can't give you this super badass sniper rifle, have it look amazing and go, this was brought by the Krumtochians and they were an ancient race of New Yorkers. No, that's not gonna work. You're gonna have to go, here's a gun that you had in real life and it shoots. It's purple, so that's something. It has high stats. Go shoot stuff. And that's what I'm seeing from the game is, it has fantastical elements. It is futuristic, but it is confined by the reality it's trying to kind of, depict. The possible. It's both its strength and its weakness. To its plot. It's an interesting plot, and I hope it develops into something and pays off. But at the same time, it's the loot. I was getting knee pads, and I was like, I've got better knee pads now. Okay, like that's. I mean, yeah, I can do a bit more damage. I can take a bit more damage. Right, yeah. The guns don't feel different like they do in a first person shooter where you've got that freedom to do that. I think, yeah, more my qualms more come from its third person choice, where I felt that maybe the Division could have benefited from a first person perspective. Um, and again, that's just strongly my opinion. Like, I don't want to push that on and say that the game's bad because of that at all. But I am cautiously optimistic to the loot grind that it's gonna be, and a level 30 level cap. Yeah, okay. I understand.
To me, I don't get this level cap business. I know that there are people out there in gamer world that will play and play and play and just get to level 5 million and not sleep and not eat. Well, maybe eat. They'll just like pizza and game with one hand. But yeah, I understand they've got to control that. But the low, it seems too often that games are capped at too low a level for me. I don't know about you, Dave, but I mean, if you can't control a game past level 30, maybe you need to look at how your level up system works, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I agree with that level cap thing. That's the one thing that bugs me. But I, as an advocate of third-person shooting and third-person gameplay, as a Mass Effect fan, and not necessarily a first-person shooter fan, I am loving the fact that it's chosen to go down the cover shooter third-person, because it really means that outside of something like Destiny that's first-person, outside of Tamriel Unlimited, which is a bit of both, but it's better to play first-person, a lot of these experiences on console that you can play, kind of like first-person orientated, and I'm looking forward to one that's a real, true, cover-based shooter. It does remind me of Mass Effect in something, especially in the open beta when there was a bit more plot going on and a bit more kind of, these are the things that you need to go and get to strengthen your base. It gave me that kind of, this does feel Mass Effect-y, I'm going to like this. I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the fact that third-person cover-based shooting meant it was in my kind of comfort zone. If I was going down I like Destiny, and I'm pretty decent at Destiny for a first-person shooter, but I'm not, anywhere near the level of some other people that are playing it. Whereas when I'm playing the third-person game, I'm thinking, I can actually do quite well at this. I'm quite, can get me flanking maneuvers going on and have some fun. And I'm obviously more of a lone wolf than you, Dave, so I'll be kind of lone wolfing a lot of missions and trying to tag along to your teams where I'm struggling. But that's the thing for me. For people that like yourself, that do like to play in teams, great, awesome. I like to play in teams too, but I'm obviously I got 2 kids at home, and I can only play when I can play, and I might only get an hour or so, and I might just want to do a mission, and I might not want to kind of have half an hour of conversation. Are you coming on, Dave? Are you coming on? No, I'm playing this.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Yeah. I just want to go on, and I want to have fun. And if it's not fun for me as a lone wolf player, then I'm not going to enjoy the Division. So I hope they've put that kind of thought into it. That's my kind of worry. And I also put in my preview of it, like you said, with the bits that there are to upgrade. This is sold to us as an RPG. Now, I always felt that, again, the comparison, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them to make with Destiny, but I'm going to do it one more time. Destiny was sold to us as a first-person shooter by Bungie. They must have said first-person shooter about 10 times in one interview, and everyone was like, oh yeah, it's an RPG, it's an online RPG. No, it's a first-person shooter that happens to be online. The Division is sold to us as a third-person shooter, but it's an RPG. They have said in questions that were asked, they have specifically taken out the use of melee weapons for instant kills because of the RPG mechanics. They didn't want to have an instant kill. You can whack people away, but you can't just sneak up to someone and kill them, like you can with a first-person shooter for an instant kill. That isn't going to work for you. So I need this as an RPG fan, as a third-person shooter fan, as someone that thinks Mass Effect is one of the best examples of those games ever. I want to see really good RPG mechanics. Now, I think the betas have watered it down. I played the Dark Zone missions in the EGX demo, and I had some really, really cool equipment. I had this kind of homing grenade that if you threw it into a group of enemies, it would kind of roll around on the floor and try and catch one of their heels, and then it would go boom and blow up as many of them as it could in its radius. Those kind of little tech gizmo things, I enjoyed playing with those, and there were some really heavy weapons that I was playing with that felt different. So I was playing with a submachine gun, trying to take out, and I swapped to quite a heavy rifle, and I could really feel that I was using a meaty gun. And I liked the fact that the ammo felt real as well. I didn't have like 5 million shots before I needed to reload. I had a very, I needed almost to count my rounds as I was shooting them to make sure I didn't run out of ammo and leave myself completely exposed. So I did like that kind of realness to the game. I don't need another Call of Duty where I can run up walls, practically fly, run around at 20 miles an hour and never get out of breath. It's cold, I'm hungry, these weapons I'm carrying are heavy, and I want it to feel like that as I'm playing the game. So I'm quite liking that kind of tone to it. As I said, the main thing for me is these RPG elements and the things that you've got to do to get those kind of experience points and upgrades have got to be enjoyable, pleasurable, and just downright good. But not, in fact, no, I'm going to change that. Amazing. They can't be good. This game cannot be good. This game has to be amazing.
I hear you. You said a lot of stuff there that did actually cover a lot of the benefits of the game that it's easy to forget once you're removed from the process. The upgradable stocks, the drops that you can get for all the mods to the weapons are actually quite an interesting mechanic, and again just adds to the loot pool, which is good because again this is a loot shooter, and they love to use the term shared world shooter, right? Yeah, we get it. There's a lot of us shooting in the world, right? You don't want to call it an MMO because it's not an MMO, it's not Warcraft. Yeah, I understand you're looking for a new term, but you're never going to get it. So it's an MMO shooter. There you go. The point is that we need loot. And it looks like The Division has a lot of loot. Now, you said I didn't experience the homing grenades or anything like that, so that sounds interesting.
That was really, really cool. This dude, I threw it at this guy, he saw it, turned, ran, and it just literally jumped on his heel, and he ran into about 2 other of his dudes trying to for cover to get away, and it blew all 3 of them up, and it was just like, that was my moment of EGX. I was like, yes!
Like an exploding Far Cry Badger. I love it. Right at the heel. And I think, the idea of the homing grenade and like these different abilities that will make things kind of like Borderlands, the way that, in terms of like the way that these items are different. I do want a shotgun that's not just a shotgun, but I get the feeling I'm not really going to get that. And again, tomorrow we get to grips with this game. I kind of wish I could pre-order it and get a code or something and have it straight on the PS4 at midnight, because that's where people are going to be tonight.
Yes.
But I'm going to wait for my copy tomorrow and just be like, okay, give me a reason to love you, because people are going to tear through this content in a week. Like the hardcore of the hardcore are going to be tearing through this game, and that will tell as to whether or not The Division will survive. If by the end of it, it's not going, hey, season pass.
What do you mean by the end of it? They'll be going, hey, season pass, about 10 times before you actually sign into the first mission.
You will log in and it will go, maybe try The Division season pass. And you're like, okay, I understand. Let me play your game. Yeah. Let me see if it's let me see if I'm going to really need a season. Well, you are going to need the season pass, trust me. But
they did, in fairness to Ubisoft, they did release some details the other day that did say there was some free stuff. There were a few bits. I ran the news just before the weekend. I think it was on Friday. And it did say that there was some drops coming into the Dark Zone for at least 3 things that were free. And then the rest was kind of dropped throughout the year. So there was some in June, there was some in kind of like autumn time or fall, as they say in the US, and then there was some in around Christmas. So there was a free one which came with incursions in April. The first free update will introduce the first incursion, a new challenging endgame activity developed specifically for squad play. And then there's going to be conflict in May, which is a second free update. It will add new features to the Dark Zone. and there's going to be a new incursion in the iconic Columbus Circle. The paid expansions are Underground, Survival, and Last Stand. And like I said, Underground's in June, Survival's just in the end of the summer, and Last Stand's in winter. So there's a kind of a mixed bag there. It's, we're going to give you some free stuff, which will be alright, keep you going, but season pass.
Right. I mean, I want to be clear, I'm not against paid content. I'm not. But what I am against, and again, I don't know if this is the case with The Division, but it's always a worry because it has been abused before by Ubisoft themselves and by plenty of other publishers. It has happened with the DLC bandwagon. People, they want you to buy the season pass. And again, Batman Arkham Knight, anybody? Like, did you buy that season pass? Because some people, like Greg Miller, enjoyed it. He loves his Batman. He loves those things. Most people were like, okay, mostly challenge
I get a suit today. Yay.
Yeah. And that's a problem with a season pass. But again, that's all business and it's, whatever. My point will be, if I play The Division and I finish what I can do in The Division that's, actually worth doing, and I go, will I put the controller down? And I'm a reasonable man, Rush, you know this, man. I will play a game to the point where it cannot give me any more. And then that's when I'll make my opinion known. I will play that game and I'll be like, am I going to step away and think, you know what? That gave me a lot of content for what, the standard... Very cheap game price, what is it? $60. We're looking at 50 quid, 45 quid for ourselves in the UK, depending on where you buy it. And am I gonna be thinking, you know what? I had a really good experience with just that base game. I don't feel the need to buy the season pass to enjoy this game. Am I gonna get that? I think so. I hope so. But if I'm at the end of that game, like all games, and saying, I need to buy the DLC to enjoy this. Like, I can't buy the base game. And again, Destiny, one of my favourite games, is that game. If you don't buy the DLC, you probably won't enjoy it. Like, you need that DLC. And that is the kind of game where you are like, nope. Like, that is, if you played the base game of Destiny, you will know disappointment. That is disappointment in its rawest form. And that's the kind of thing that we can't have with The Division. It looks like it will have more to it. I hope it has more to it. And I hope that I leave the game, minus the season pass, thinking I want to buy the season pass, not that I need to buy it.
Yeah, I think we discussed this off camera between us, but we'll make the same point on camera. I'll say it the same way. Ubisoft, when they make an open world game, and they do a lot of open world games, they fill up the map. They fill it. They give you lots of things to do. And for example, in The Division, there's these echo things that I thought were a very interesting, unique way of kind of constructing a mission. I liked that idea, and you could figure it out. They do fill a map, and despite its critics, Watch Dogs, there was a lot to do, and Assassin's Creed, there's a lot to do, and the Far Cry game, probably the best at the moment of Ubisoft's kind of franchises for me. There is a lot to do. The question is, how much of those a lot of things to do are pleasurable and not just, like you said, collecting feathers.
Ah, yes, the feathers.
I mean, how
Vietnam flashbacks.
How many feathers can a man collect before he's happy? I mean, just
can you become a bird? That's about it.
Just to kind of, we're gonna have to draw a conclusion now. I mean, I personally, as I said, I want to believe this hype. I want this game to deliver. And on mygameslounge.com, we, as the name suggests, we just chill out in My Games Lounge and we play awesome games. We are not going to rush to drop a number on this. We're not going to play it for a few days and hammer it and drop a number 7 or an 8 or a 9 on it. We're going to play it. We're going to share our experience with you on mygameslounge.com for you to read, for you to watch, for you to enjoy, and we'll review it when we feel it's appropriate to review it. But I just hope that what it does deliver for those people that do that and do kind of rush around to draw conclusions and put numbers on things, that, like you said, the actual base game is pleasurable is worth all this time that they spent to build it up, and obviously worth all this money that people are about to spend to buy it, because they've got obviously everyone's on a level playing field here. There are no reviews to tell you, should you buy it or shouldn't you if you're on the fence. So people are kind of just going to make that decision for themselves this next few hours.
I'd say wait. Like, I really do think if we were recommending to people, we are not the Ubisoft PR team. We're not their marketing team. I've got respect for them as a company. I've got respect for the developers. But we are not here to sell you the game. We are here to tell you what we think about the game. And that's why I say, if you are already sold on a Division, I respect your decision. Go for it. Pick it up. I am going to be playing it. And I am, me, Ross, and I believe Neil. I'm not sure if Neil's going to get too deep into it, but we are going to be bringing you updates, as Ross said, and trying to show you what we feel about the game as we progress. And hopefully, if I were you, and if you are, maybe you're holding on to that, a good 60 quid, maybe, nearly 80 quid, you got the season pass, you're thinking of everything, I'd wait and just see what the sites say, including our own. Hopefully you'll come to ours, but wherever you go for your coverage, just check it out, see what you think upon release, because it could be, again, hypothetically speaking, it could be broken at release, that something could happen with the servers that nobody's anticipating, and it's down for the first few days. That's not reflective of a bad game, but it is a bad experience if you're expecting to play the Division tomorrow. So
that's a very good point.
We don't know, and that could be a situation. I highly doubt it, but it's always possible. It has happened. So maybe hold off at least a few days.
And what we shall do,
some proper impressions.
What we shall do is we shall cover it on My Games Lounge. We have a gameplay diaries section that kind of we use when we're playing a game that's already released. We put it in our gameplay diary section. We update it when we can, when we've done something significant. It's not like a day-to-day thing, because we're boys. We're not like women, who keep really rigorous diaries like my missus does. She has a fantastic diary. It's beautiful. It's color-coded. She puts things in every day. This is more like a boys' diary where we just go, yeah, I've got something happening that day-ish. That'll be right. That kind of thing. So we just put our updates on as we go. But with the Division, we'll try and do something as often or as close to every day as possible. And next time on the Game and Respawn podcast, we will talk a little bit more about the Division, I think, Dave, shall we? And, share a bit more about...
That will be next week. Yes, we will.
1 week on thoughts should be a good thing for our show next week.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
we are going to be bringing you this every week, hopefully, from now on, if I'm mistaken. We want to be more regular for the people that enjoyed our very first podcast that we had with ourselves and Neil and Kat. And was it just us four?
Oh yeah, it was the four. Yeah, I mean, Sub came on as well.
Sub did, yeah, briefly. We haven't seen. Sorry,
that's cool, man.
With Sub recently.
Okay, we are just a kind of a league of gamers on MyGamesLounge.com. We come, we go, we do what we need to do, and we like to contribute. But myself and Dave will be here on a weekly basis, unless something gets in the way of that. But we will always target a weekly one. Next week, as I say, more in the Division, like a week on thoughts. And hopefully we get to play a bit more of Hitman as well, and we should be able to bring you some thoughts on what Hitman's like
yes.
as that releases in the next few days as well. Got a bit of competition with the Division with Hitman, because I really like Hitman games, and I'm looking forward to having a go at that.
I'm pretty sure the Division's safe.
Yeah, I think it will be okay.
In my opinion, just from again the schizophrenia that Hitman seems to have bloody had. It's multiple personality disorder, trying to figure out how it's going to release itself. Hitman, Hitman, I'm going to play Hitman. I'm going to tell you what I think about Hitman. That's about it.
We shall let you know.
That's all I got.
Cool, man. But yeah,
should we plug some things, Russ? Should we plug a couple of what we're up to at the moment, aside from the Division?
Well, you plug away, sir. You plug.
No worries. So I've done, as we said earlier, the Entertainment Lounge. We have our 3 anime reviews up there at the moment. We will be adding more to them as and when they come. Mostly supplied as pre-release copies. So we cover the Blu-rays. So, I mean, if you're just after the information of a show, there is plenty of details already out there as they come out in Japanese. But we are covering the Blu-ray releases to talk about any extras that may also be on them, the runtime, and that's just what we're doing at the moment. We're going to branch out into more coverage of hopefully movies and TV shows soon, books as well, gaming novels, if I'm not mistaken. Russ.
Yeah, there's a new thing coming from My Games Lounge, and it's kind of being below the radar for the moment, but we are not just gamers. We do like reading, and we like when games cross over into movies. We like when games cross over into TV. And we also like games that cross over into books and graphic novels. So we'll be definitely looking at something to do with that. That's coming up quite soon, and there may even be a dedicated website to that, Dave. That's a little
that may
teaser
exist
for people. And yes. So. As far as the gaming side goes, we'll be covering all the news that comes up, and we will try and do some more of our news roundups. We got a vote on Twitter to say that they were good, so we're going to do more of those. And yes, we're going to be doing quite a few reviews this week. We've kind of got through as much testing as we can on this new look My Games Lounge, so we're going to kind of release a lot of reviews. Now, obviously, we had a few months downtime, so you'll see some reviews and you'll think, why are you reviewing that now? That was out 3 months ago. People have moved on with their lives. Yep. Why would you want to play a game that was 3 months old? But no, we're going to just kind of catch up on all those things that we should have released just in and around Christmas time. We're also going to do some really cool indie game stuff. There's quite a few indie games I've been playing that I've really enjoyed. So I'll be putting those reviews up, and there'll be more content on My Games Lounge on The Division as often as we can put it on, and especially on launch day tomorrow. So thank you for joining me today, Dave. We shall be back next week. Are you looking forward to it, sir?
I am. I have one last thing, and I'll let you go. Right? Division specifically, I am starting up on my Twitch channel properly as of tomorrow with Division coverage. So while we will definitely have Division coverage over at MGL, I'm still going to be doing the gameplay diaries with Ross. But if you want some live footage as it happens, come to twitch.tv/DavidGameUK. That's where I'm going to be. And we're gonna have our own Twitch coverage over there, Ross. Awesome. So that's how it's going to go.
If you follow in My Games Lounge on Twitter, that's at My Games Lounge. We will retweet any of Dave's stuff so you can get his live feed, no problems. Thank you, David. Enjoy the Division tomorrow. I'm hoping to get a game as well. And I will see you soon. And gamers, thank you for coming on. Get yourself onto mygameslounge.com and mix up all that gaming coverage that is on the internet. But ours is pretty damn cool. So come and check us out. And we will see you soon. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.